Have you ever had something that happened to you that you couldn't explain with logic, but inside, in your heart, you knew what it meant? Maybe a feather you found, maybe a butterfly you saw, a song you heard. These are things that happen after we lose a loved one, and we call them signs. Has this ever happened to you? Hello, this is Ligia Houben. Welcome to my podcast, Transforming Grief, and welcome to this episode, because we'll be talking about a topic that is so close to my heart. And it is so close to my heart that I have it also as an audio, because I have an audio podcast, Transformando el Duelo, Transforming Grief. So it's the same message, English and Spanish. And I have one that is about signs. However, I wanted to do it also in this format because it happens so much. I hear it so much, it happens to me as well. So I wanted to hold the space and talk about this. What are signs? Signs are when we have lost a loved one and we feel that they are communicating with us, that there is that connection. Because what happens is that when we lose a loved one, the relationship doesn't end. It doesn't end. It continues. And with what we call ADC, which is after death communication, that connection may exist in that form. And many people come to me, and when they share their experiences, they ask me, Ligia, do you believe in this? What I always tell them is, what matters most is what you believe. What is the meaning you give to this experience that you had? Because that's what matters. That's what matters. What is the meaning that you have because of that? For example, I will share with you some stories, about the experience of having a sign. A person, a woman who lost her husband, and she finds feathers so often in places that it is not possible to be a feather. There's nothing open, and still she finds feathers. And also about feathers, there's also this man that finds feathers in places that you would never expect to have, to see a feather. And it happens often as well. So I have stories that I hear of things that may happen similar, but in different contexts, right? And what do they feel? What do they think the feathers are? Signs of their loved ones. A bereaved mother that has this connection, this deep and beautiful connection with her child through butterflies. So every single person experienced these signs in a different way. However, how can we continue this? How can we continue this connection? Through signs or through that relationship that doesn't die? Because that's where we want to go. That's where we want to go. What does that represent to you? What is the message that you get as you receive those signs? And I will share this that just happened to me, and is what has prompted me actually to share this with you. A few weeks ago, I was cleaning the center. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was cleaning the center. And then there, in the parking lot here, there is a huge dumper, one corner. So I went there because I was throwing away boxes and things, no? So I went there, and I wasn't supposed to go at that time. But for something that happened that I will not go into details, I went. And when I am just, unloading all the things, comes this man with something that seems to be a painting, no? And then when I saw that, I'm like, are you going to throw that away? And he said, do you want it? Because what I saw was like a painting of a beautiful peacock. And I'm like, yes, absolutely. Yes, I want it. And I was taken by awe, by like so much joy when I saw that. And what made me feel this way? I'll share this with you. 5.5 years ago, I lost my mom, my beloved mother. I was very close to her. And I share this story in my book. Allow me to live my grief and heal from the inside out. And this happened a week after she died. I was driving and suddenly I had to stop the car because a peacock with 3 baby peacocks just crossed in front of my car. When I saw that, my heart jumped. And I tell you this with all my love, because the thing is that we are 3 sisters. And when I saw that, the meaning it had for me, it symbolized my mom and 3 sisters. And I called my sisters and let them know what happened. And that's how we took it. That's how we took it, because it was amazing, what I felt. And now, when I saw this man with this painting, that I think it is a painting, as how beautiful it looks, and when I asked him what made him, throw that away or put it away for someone, to take it, he said, well, the thing is, that is my photo, he said. And he had ordered it, to be framed. It was, enlarged. So it's like a framed photo enlargement, very big. But they made a mistake. And the company, that he ordered the enlargement, and they sent him 2. And that is the second one that he gave to me. And I told him, I shared the story of my mom, that she had died with a peacock and the 3 peacocks, and he was moved, by that. So I took that with me. And here we can see the large picture I mentioned in the reception area of my center. And again, for me, that's a sign. For me, it's that connection, because the thing is that when we have those connections and we can hear, stories of people, and we can read books about people that talk about the after-death communication, ADC, and it has been proven how these things help, because it helps the bereaved to feel that there is a connection, and that stays there. And that brings joy. And that's why, they mention these things, authors actually. I am planning to write my next book, to write it about this, ADC, after death communication, talking about science and the afterlife, all these things that, again, it's a topic that can be extremely sensitive, and it is so valuable for the bereaved. When I have my groups here and they start talking about that, and people that have never read about those things, after they lose a loved one, they start reading about it, because they are searching for that connection. And when they experience a sign for them, for us, that's beautiful. That's very, very powerful. And there's another way that people take as signs, as a sign, when they have dreams, when they dream with a loved one and they receive messages. They feel that they receive messages. Something else, there are people that maybe they are not even family members, maybe they're friends, and they dream with the person who died, and they say that they received a message, so they can say to the bereaved. And that has also great value. So these things, You can imagine in 20 years, 20 plus years in doing this, I have heard so many stories. And if this is something that happens to you, I suggest that you write them down in a journal. Just leave a notebook just for that, for each experience you have, because that is precious. That is something that you are able to experience. Not everybody is able to experience this, because I have had clients that maybe I'm seeing a friend, a friend that they recommended me, and they come, and that friend has had a sign or has had, dreams, and they say, Ligia, my friend is having these signs. How come I am not? So sometimes they compare themselves. It is not about comparing at all. It is not about comparing. It is about you establish and you keep that connection with your loved one. If you do not experience signs, you still have that connection. And it depends on you how that connection is. If it is coming from a place of suffering, or if it's coming from a place of continuing to honor them with love. Because you continue with their legacy. You embody values that they had. If they wanted to help a certain organization to do something, maybe they had a project they couldn't do, you can do it. You can do it, on their behalf, honoring them. That is connection. That is connection. So if you don't experience a sign and, ADC, you do not. However, it's up to you how you continue that connection. When you keep, writing to them, when you keep writing letters to them, when you light that candle and you have that moment that you say something to them, that you say a prayer, something that keeps that connection, it is there. Because love is always there. Love is eternal. On the other hand, if you happen to have the signs, pay attention. Pay attention, write them down, and you can create a beautiful journal with all those, those experiences. You may even want to eventually even print a book for you. Remember, that now it is, I said, remember, maybe you don't know. Now it is so easy. If you happen to take pictures of the times that you have these experiences, maybe you take pictures, then you can print out a book with all those instances that you have felt they were a sign to you. And the beauty is that when you experience that, to write down what is the meaning, that experience that you consider to be a sign meant to you. Because that, as you do that, it will help you in your grieving and your healing process. I hope that this message has touched your heart and that you have found value in it, because I said it with all my love, If it resonated with you, I appreciate if you can give me a like and share it with others. Remember, this topic, based on my experience, not too many people talk about it because they don't want that others criticize them or judge them or, say those things that we don't want to hear, because, people sometimes criticize, and those comments, they don't help the bereaved, so people stay quiet. However, if you know people, that they are grieving, and you share this with them, maybe they are experiencing something, and this can help them also to validate what they feel, and at the same time to help them in their grieving process. Thank you so much for being here. From my heart to yours.